Hi guys, have you ever wished that you could have tables in Casman that would automatically fill out with the data from your models? Well, today I'm starting a new series of plugins, the first of which is Total Area, but it's just the start of a series, and we're going to be able to take text items, tell them what they're supposed to say, how they're formulating their values, and place them anywhere in your model. So in a whole lot of ways, it's like a spreadsheet that's been deconstructed and can be put in as data fields anywhere you like them, whether you want to lay them out in a table, whether you want to actually add it into your actual building or anywhere on your site, just wherever you want the data, put it there. Then as things change, you can update that data automatically from the information of where it was gathered from in the first place. So while that may not make a whole lot of sense to start with, the first tool in the series is Total Area. This allows you to label multiple planes and then be able to total the area of those planes based on their naming and their labeling. So today I'm going to take you through this first new tool. I've started with this little project. It's just a very preliminary concept layout for a dual occupancy, and what I'm going to do is just show you how to use Total Area tool for calculating the private open space around this dwelling one. So to start with, we're going to bring up the new tool and we're going to add labels. First label we're going to add is, we're just going to call it POS, short for private open space, and then select the planes that I want to nominate as private open space. And then I'm going to name SPOS, so that's for the secluded private open space, and I'm going to select this plane in the back. Now, once I drop out of the labeling section by right-clicking, I now have two different labels that have been utilized, the POS for private open space and SPOS for secluded private open space. I can just close out of here for the second. What I'm going to do is go to my text tool and I'm going to set my properties for the text that I want to use. In this case, just small text, centered. Jump back into my Total Areas tool, and for starters, I want to put in a private open space, and I'm going to prefix this with total private open space, and my total private open space is going to be in meters squared with a precision of 0. I have an example that shows me what the prefix is, what a value, and then what the suffix is going to be. In this case, because it's total private open space, I want the area of all the private open space and the secluded private open space. If I insert and now close, the text that I've entered has the prefix of total private open space, the total area, which was of the private open space and the secluded private open space areas all totaled together with an M squared. Really simple tool, but really powerful in it, and great way to be able to add up multiple areas and be able to add them to a schedule, etc. If I'm now to say this plane here is no longer part of the private open space, or I want to modify that plane, I can just come in and use my plane tools, go edit, select, let's say we only want it to be back away from the driveway. Now I go back, I hit update, and my area, my total private open space area is updated. If I was to say not want to have any of that plane as part of the private open space, simply delete it, another update, and you can see it update. That's it in its simplest form. If I was to insert a pre-made schedule, as I have for area summary, I can link that in, place it into my model, and as long as it's unpacked to a set, which that is, or unpacked completely, I have an open space, a value here already been put in, and I can do an update, and that will update from this current model. So I've just pre-made one of these values, put it in onto this table, and then when I've brought in the table, because I've used the same names of POS and SPOS, this value here then has the ability to just read that in and update it with the update tool. If I identify that value, you'll see here that it's got a tag called area label made up of private open space and secluded private open space. And then it's followed by this section here, which has no prefix. It has a precision of 0, no decimal places, and then no suffix. So if I was wanting to actually have this to have a suffix, all I need to do is go to tags, change tag, select my value, say yes to that one, and add in on my tagging that I want it to have that. Now when I update, it now adds the meters squared to my value. I can put in a plain. I need to label it. So I go to the tool, add label, and label it POS. Select that area. And as soon as I close out, the value here is updated and the value on my table is updated. If I was to say want to fill out my site area, I already have a plane that represents the whole of the site. I can just jump in, add label, site, close. As soon as I close, you see the site area updating on my table, utilizing that plane that was the whole of my site. I'm sure there's heaps of different ways you can figure out how to utilize this tool. You can actually add multiple labels to one plane. So if you want to say the area of the unit like this, I can add a label for dwelling 1, GND, and I can also call it GND on that same plane. Okay, dwelling 2, GND, and add garage to that and that for my, and driveway. Now I've got a heap of different labels, and because I've got pre-set up values in here, already updated total of my garage area. It's got a total for my driveway area. So it's just as I build up my concept model, these areas start filling in for me. Tells me my total impervious area just by simply using different area formulas to make up these values. If I was to now bring in my schedule for dwelling 1, because I utilized different tags, one was D1 ground and one was ground, I used the ground as a global one to give me a total dwellings. But as soon as I update the table, I have an independent ground floor for unit 1. And this one here, if I inquire of it, it's bringing up all of the ground, which was my generic label. So that's why we can now add 2 labels or multiple labels to a plane so that you can actually include it into a generic total or a specific total for a particular dwelling. So I really hope that you guys find this is a really helpful tool. As I said, it's the first in a series. I'm going to then add additional ones for count and formula so that we can actually utilize things like working out an impervious area as a percentage. We'll be able to have a formula that will give us a percentage of the site. So those things are coming, but this is the first of the new series of plugin tools for CADsman. Hope you enjoy.